battles unfold on the table, less expanse. Miniature warriors in a strategic dance. 15 millimeters of intricate design. A world conflict in a scaled down line. Terrain crafted with precision and care. Armies maneuver under watchful glare. Dice roll to decide the fate of the day. Strategies clash in a tactical
Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with our What's in the Box series. And in this What's in the Box, I have ordered and just received my Plastic Soldier 3D. This would be the Cromartie Forge, or their 3D models that they print. Yeah, you got 3D World War II, Cromartie. Yeah, we're going to go through and we're going to take a close-up look at this. We're going to see everything that we got in the package. And then what I'll do is I'll bring the model up to the camera so that you can see in detail what it looks like. So the first thing I want to do is just announce that I do have a Gaelic camp in here. I also have, well, I have some elephants, no problem. I've got the Hellcats. That's not everything I ordered. Okay. I also got some villagers. I got the Roman marching camp. And then I also have the Roman camp site. They call it the marching camp open and the marching camp full, but the way it's described and the way it's shown is that it would fit on a 80 by 120 base as a meg campsite. Before I get it out and I measure everything, figure everything, where everything goes, I want to remind everybody that my Roman marching camp would be used during scenarios for Meg, right? And Meg has a terrain features that normally go up to 7 base width. That would be considered a large terrain feature. I don't think that really matters when it comes to terrain features that are going to be on as part of a scenario. But I'd like to kind of keep it around the 7 base widths because I think that would be the equivalent of like a 12-inch camp in a black powder game. But I could be wrong. I just want to see how big the marching fort is and everything else. Okay, so I'm going to pull this box out of the way. I'm going to pull all the pieces out onto the table here so that I can see in a better way. So bear with me. Give me a second while I pull everything out of the box. Okay, so let's just go over what we're looking at here. I've got 2 M18 Hellcats, World War II armored fighting vehicles. We'll go ahead and take a closer look at those here in a minute. I've got 3 elephants here with their howdahs and their crew right here. So that's the elephant set. That's the tanks. This right here would be the village, the Gaul or Germanic farm. That's what this is going to be right here. Now, I think this and this together forms my small camp, right? I think this forms my small camp collection. We'll have to take a look at that. And then the rest of these walls is the full outer camp. You got your 4 corners. And then 2 long walls, which I'm not sure, and then 5 shorter walls. So I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go together, but we'll try to get that to go together here in a moment. Which it comes with a couple of gatehouses. I'm not sure why. These are gate toppers, which would normally go on top of the wall, which I thought one of these would go on top of this gate, but there is one already included in this set. So these two, I think, are extras. Yeah, because if I needed to put a gate, these guys already have the gate tops. I don't, and there's no need to put another one on top of there like that. So I don't know. I think these two are extras. There's some obstacles here. Look like hedgehogs and looks like campfires. And then we got 3 officer tents. This one looks closed, and then these 2 are open. So we got the 3, and then there's an officer tent there. It looks open. And then is that an officer tent as well? Yeah, it looks like another officer tent. And then 3 legionary tents. And then there's another 12 legionary tents right here. To be honest, I'm thinking I'm going to make maybe 2 Roman campsites. Maybe I think I already have one campsite. One campsite that I have has 1 officer tent and 1 legionary tent on it already, and it's kind of open. Might have a campfire and a couple of legionaries walking around. If I was to make 2 more camps, I would have all these extra tents. Now, I could put them inside of the marching fort. I would put some of these in the marching fort. There's a whole lot of extra tents that I probably, if I was feeling so inclined, I could put them up on the store. So I might do that. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but whatever I don't actually use for myself, I'm going to put up on the store. Okay, so let's take a closer look at some of these items just in my own, without actually zooming in. Okay, well, this is going to get cut off. That's their, that's the way they, breaking that. Ah, there we go. Now that, of course, all that stuff would be cut off. I'm surprised it's breaking off by hand. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, and there's the lattice underneath. Totally fine. That can stay there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down onto a base. I'm going to make a little farm terrain feature, make a little urban environment. I like this with the stones around the edge, the thatched roof. Looks like kind of a wicker, not a thatch, but a interwoven, interlaced door. I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of imperfections in the stone. That's really cool. We're going to zoom in on that in a moment. Once I go and look at everything. There's a smaller little chicken coop. There's a little pen of some kind. I don't know what that represents. This is a gate. I don't know how this would fit together to form a village or a walled complex or whatever. We'll have to maybe I'll take a look at the picture and kind of try to figure it out. There's two L-shaped fences. Timber that's been with a pointed top driven into the ground or what have you. And then there's the gate. And then, of course, the thatch. Interesting. It's very, very interesting. Okay, and then the villagers. What do we got here? We got like a woman. Maybe that's her hair. No, it's, I see hair laying across her back. So what is that? Could be hair as well. This guy looks like he might be a monk or something. You guys all look Germanic. He's got a spear. Okay, it looks like this is the exact same sprue as that. When the biggest guy here, he's got this hand axe, battle axe. All three of them are exactly the same. Take a look at these elephants. Okay, they're all different. Snouts going in different directions. Their tusks don't look exactly the same. These guys could very easily be Macedonian. Might be Macedonian elephants. The howdah straps and blankets, yeah, they're all different. Every single one of these is different. Rider is already pre-built into the model. Heads and tails and everything. I don't have to assemble anything. That's beautiful. Well, when it comes to these elephants, right? Except you do get these howdahs, and the howdahs still have the support structure. You got to snip off. We'll have to clean them. And then the howdah would glue directly onto the back of the elephant, where the crew would fight from. There's no floor on these howdahs, but the floor is already pre-built onto the elephant, so it just glue directly onto there. Looks like shields are already attached to all four sides. This is the crew. You get a crew of three. Two of them have pikes that are pointing down. So when you put the guy in the howdah, he's fighting down, trying to kill the people around the elephant. I'm not sure about this guy. This guy is exactly like these guys without a pike in his hand. So if I wanted to put a spear, or because it comes with his hands wrapped like this, and I would just have to poke a hole out of both of his hands. It looks like when we zoom in, I'll show you what these guys look like. Basically, they don't have a weapon. But I could, if I wanted to, have the pike going up, or I could have it going down. These guys are all wearing Phoenician helmets, except for these two. They could those could very easily be, any of these could be Carthaginians, it could be Greek, generic enough that they could be. The closed tent, it's done with its square panels. Got the ropes all on the bottom, of course. Now this one rope is broke. That's fine. Even these short tents have these little ropes. Gatehouse. See, something I'm noticing, puzzle pieces get these little, like a disc sticking out, like a little, what would you call that? An A tab, and then you got on the other side you got a hole, right? So it's kind of like the B slot. So if hypothetically, I'm never going to connect these two together, but you would take the A tab and the B slot and you'd hook them together. And go together like a puzzle piece. I'm noticing the walls have this as well. These walls don't have that. Well, let's take a look at the campsite. And again, when we do the zooming in, and we're also going to do like a layout comparison of how I can lay everything out. But I've got obstacles, I've got tents, I've got a little campfire, and then the marching fort corner. And this has got half of the gate and a couple of pins sticking up. This has the other half of the gate, and it's got a roof guard tower piece, which these have holes on the bottom. They would fit right on that, like that. If I had the gates together, it's going to sit kind of like that. I have to try to assemble that. Size it up anyway. Now, looking at these walls, you got wood planks, a little dirt beam, berm. On the other side of the dirt berm, you've got wood holding the dirt in place. Little stepway. You've got your battlement. Now, I wonder if I have 20 millimeter bases, if they would fit on there. Okay, that right there is an 80 millimeters, so that's two 40 millimeter bases. I got 5 of these, which I think is one too many. I wonder if I could just snap this apart. Probably can. I probably should. Care for it. Yeah, I got 5 of those, so I don't know if that's the right number of those. Two of the long ones. 120, so that's 3 bases. Nice clean cut too. Okay. Okay. 2 long ones. That's 40 millimeters, but with the way the shape is and everything, interior wise, it's only about 30 millimeters. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit, adjust the focus, and then what we'll do is we'll take some close-up looks at all these figures. All right, so now let's take a look at the hut here. And then a little chicken coop. I guess this would be for the chickens. I guess I don't know what this is. Feed them. I guess the little feeder. Now you get two of these walls, right? This being 80 millimeters, and then this being 40 millimeters, the shorter wall being 40. There's inside of the gate, which is also another 40. So technically, if you wanted to put this fence on a campsite, which is 80 by 120, you could do that, leaving one of the sides open. And I guess that's the edge that you would put up against the table edge. Um, and then the other buildings would all fit inside that. So you could technically make a campsite for your army using that. These are the villagers. I think these guys are called defending villagers. Hard to see there. This gray, and then my lighting is like super bright on them. I almost have to put them in shadow so you can see the details. Get three of those. Next thing I want to show are these elephants. A lot of good detail on the elephant. Look at the ropes. Armor plates on their head. Ropes that tie the howdah down. Wraps on the legs. Fleshy skin. Big ears. Big ear elephants. That's is that African or is that Indian? I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. These, to me, I don't really pay attention to that. These are the big ear elephants. How the howdah comes with all the support struts, you would have to cut those out. And then you have your crew. Now, like I said, these three on the end, they don't have weapons. but their hands are in a position where they could hold a spear or something. Now, I didn't show these, but this is the N18. The detail on the tracks, I'm really happy with that. I don't know about that one, that little hiccup right there. It's actually on both of them. Wonder if I can straighten that out. This is an M18. Might have to get in there and clean that up with the little support struts inside. Breaker bar, and then the turret comes like that. Wonder, is this little piece here a machine gun? 50 cal that I'm gonna have to cut out and maybe glue up on the top here somewhere. Kind of looks like it is. Now the Roman tent. This is an open one. The inside is pretty interesting. Ropes. Look real close, you can see panels. This is a closed one. This would be the Legionnaire. Nice low. Doesn't really have any side walls. Legionaries would have to crawl in and lay down. They couldn't walk into it. Right, now this was the obstacles and the little fire campfires. Eight with the guardhouse, guard, whatever it is. Guard tower, I guess. Inside. Get two of those. A couple of extra, I think these are extra guard tower pieces. This is the long wall, which is 120 millimeters. Two of those. This is the short wall. I got five of them. I think it's probably one too many. But depending on how you set up your camp, I don't know, it might be just right. We'll have to figure it out. And you got your corner pieces. Okay, so we'll put those together here in a minute. Finally, you get these two sprues here for your campsite. Obstacles, campfire, a bunch of obstacles. Officer's tent. This is one of the open ones. You got the one corner, got the gatehouse, and a corner. This is the top of the gatehouse. And another closed officer's tent. And then the other side, you got the other half of the gatehouse, and then you got your corner. You got a couple of legionary tents, another campfire, more obstacles, just to fill in the sprue, and then another tent. All right, so let me adjust the camera. I'll be right back. All right, so just to get everything, before I dig into this, I wanted to show the campsite pieces. If this is 80 millimeters, which it is, and then the gate connected like that, you're looking at a piece that's 80 by 120, and the 120 and the 80 are not the walls, but the actual berm of the dirt. So it'll all fit on a 40 by 80 base, which is perfect. Now, even if I pull this piece out, which is the gatehouse, and I glued it on top of the gate here, there's no room for obstacles out front, right? Because this is going to take up the entire base. And then there's very little room inside this camp for all these tents. So I might put one or two tents inside. That's it. I'm not going to use all the tents. I'm not going to use any of the obstacles. I might put a campfire in there, but that's pretty much it. But that's great. That's what I wanted for a camp. I wanted the wall, and then I wanted a couple of tents. The extra stuff I might uh, sell on eBay. I'm not sure. All right, so let me put this out of the way. Let's see if I can't assemble a worthy campsite here. Now, how big is it going to be? I don't know. I'm just going to put pieces where so far so good. Two long ones on the sides. Let's do this. Let's not really concern ourselves with hooking them together. Let's just getting them to be flush. Yeah, this is what I think my campsite's going to be. Or I should say the fort. Now that's not square in any way, you know? How big is it actually? Trying to get it to go right on the decimal. That's a 20 right there. Okay, that's a 48. So we're looking at, remember, one base width is 40 millimeters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's exactly 7 base widths. And I don't know if you remember what I said, but 7 is the size I was hoping it was going to be. That's great. That's 7 base widths. Now, if I go 7 this way, I'm going to have a little bit of room out here, and I'm going to have a little bit of room out here. And I could put obstacles out there, little, those various obstacles. And then the tents, they're basically 30 by 40. I could probably put 1, 2, 3. I could put 3 here. I could put 3 there, and then 3 and 3. So I could do 12 tents, leaving the centerpiece fairly open, like a path going from here to there. I could fill out the inside of this campsite. Well, I'm looking forward to putting this together. Let's take a look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 base widths. So I could have like 40 millimeters in the front and 40 millimeters on the back to put obstacles or, anything really. Then I could model it out, and I could put like a dirt road going out the front. I could put a dirt road here, and I could make this all dirt on the inside, and then put a little bit of grass along the outer edge. Yeah, my mind is working overtime. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and checking this out, and checking out what these Cromartie 3D printed terrain pieces and tanks and elephants and stuff like that. And remember, you can find a lot of this stuff. Remember, if you're looking for things like this, you should check out my eBay store located right here. And if you wanted me to put together and paint something for you, just go ahead and drop me an email or look in the description below for my prices. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next one.